guys, and welcome to the Chroma side of YouTube. You may be looking at my table right now and thinking, oh my goodness, what is she into now? Well, I'll tell you. I have decided I want to paint an animal skull. So why do I have so many? Which I will be painting these. But I wanted to show you each step in the process. This one is done. If you see this shiny sheen on it, it's already done and sealed and ready to paint on. So this will be the one I'm painting on today in this video. But I wanted to show you all the full process of how to get one of these ready. So I'm going to set this aside and show you the first step. Now, if you wonder why, oh my gosh, she's wearing gloves. She never wears gloves. It's because this one over here is not treated yet. It is not cleaned. It's not treated. It was literally found in someone that I know's backyard and given to me. So what I'm going to do the first step on this guy right here. And I do like the broken ones. I think they're very organic and beautiful. And this one only has one antler, which I think is very unique and different, and I like it. So I will be using that one for a later date. This one, this one's completely organic and pure. It was found in the yard, and I'll be treating that, and I'll show you guys that process as well. It might be a little speed up, and I'm going to tell you guys more about that later. This one I bought from a fellow on Facebook. It is a coyote, and he has already cleaned it and did the process to soak it and disinfect it from any germs or mites or anything that might be in the skull. So it is ready to go, except for it is not sealed yet. So I'm not 100% sure if you should seal this with polyacrylic yet before or after you paint. So I'm going to do both. I'm going to seal it before I paint to preserve the bone, and then I'm going to seal it after I paint to preserve the painting. So that's what I'm going to do on this bad boy. This guy already is sealed with the polyacrylic, and I'm wondering if I want to go ahead and do a second coat of it, but I'm not quite sure. I bought this cleaned and sealed already at a flea market. So this is ready to go to be poured on. So I'm actually going to do that. But before I pour on this, I'm going to spray paint it gold, because my intention here is not to cover the entire skull. Therefore, I want color coming through the parts that are not poured on. And so I will be doing that off camera. So I'm going to spray paint this one gold, and I'm going to get this one prepared to show you guys how I'm going to clean it. I did watch a few YouTube videos to learn how to do this, and this is my very first time. You guys get to see all of my first times on my channel, because I believe in showing the first time on my channel. It's all about experimentation, right? So without further ado, this is my intro. I'm gonna get all my stuff set up, and I'll be back. Okay guys, so as you can see my setup here. Dragonfly just landed on my bucket. Oh, hydrogen peroxide. So this is the hydrogen peroxide that I used. Family Dollar store. You can get it 50 cents a bottle. And I have a 5-gallon bucket that I have washed and filled with hydrogen peroxide. Now the reason why I'm doing this is because, as you can see, the skull will fill with the hydrogen peroxide. And do you see it bubbling in there? All those bubbles. And then as you can see the bubbles, you can see all the dirt and grime and the icky coming out of the skull. And that's actually going to clean it and kill anything that's in there. Bacteria, mites, anything that is in that skull. So I'm going to let this soak in here. And then when it actually stops bubbling and doing its thing, I'm going to flip it over, and I'm going to get this part of the horn that is not submerged. I am going to let it sit. Now, as you can tell, I am doing this outside because, number one, hydrogen peroxide is just hydrogen peroxide. That it is just what it is. However, it is still slightly a chemical, so I figured well ventilated area. Now, what do I have set up over here? This is my let's see what I got. I got the quick drying because I'm impatient. I got polyacrylic water-based protective finish. And I am going to seal the coyote skull that I bought, already cleaned and disinfected. I'm actually going to seal it. So let's see, can I flip the camera on this? No. So I'm going to set my camera up and film me going through this really quick. And basically what I'm going to do is I'm just going to coat this with the polyacrylic just to give it a finish to protect the bone, so that if it's sitting in someone's office space or if it's hanging on someone's wall, I do not have to worry about the bone falling apart or deteriorating. So let me flip around this camera really quick and we will get to it. Hey everybody. So I've got the camera flipped. I'm sweating up a storm because I am sitting outside on my patio on my picnic table. Look at the beautiful trees behind me. It's a great day. So this is my, whatchamacallit. This is my coyote skull. It did come with the jaw so that it could clasp on. Now I'm thinking I might want to glue this on because I think it looks a little more dynamic with the jaw on there. So, should I put resin on there to keep the jaw on, or should I? I don't know. Well, before I decide all that, I'm going to go ahead and seal it with my polyacrylic while it's apart. So I always like to shake anything that I buy, especially from a hardware store. I have a 1-inch paintbrush from the hardware store to get into the little crevices, and I think I need to go get an opener or something to open this with. So let me just see if my paintbrush will work. Nope. All right, let me go get something. All right, shook it all up. It's all good to go. Let me open my little bead paintbrush, and I'm going to go ahead and start sealing this up. Just lightly brushing the polyacrylic on there. I'm going to switch hands with my gloves so I can paint with this hand and move my skull around with the other. This is polyacrylic. It is a water-based product, so I have no problems sealing with this. I'm actually dripping it down in the crevices on purpose because I really, really, really want a good seal before I try to paint this. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and do the jaw as well, seeing as I'm thinking about doing the full skull with the jaw glued on. So I'm going to go ahead and do the jaw as well. I'm going to do that off camera, and I'll probably have sped this up. I'm probably going to use a lot more that I just dripped down on my drip right here on the jaw, just so that I'm not wasting my product. I mean, I've got like a whole bunch though, so I'm not really that upset about wasting. I'm going to turn the camera off, and I am going to go ahead and get this squared away. My natural one that has not been treated, still in the hydrogen peroxide. If you can tell, the hydrogen peroxide is actually taking some of that brown color off of it, and then also floating on top is the debris from inside of the skull. So it is doing its job. It is cleaning up very well. Now here is the skull that I painted with the polyacrylic. It is dry. You can see there's a shine on it. So technically, if I wanted to, I could sit this out on display right now, and it is okay for that. It is sealed and can be displayed as is. But of course, you guys know me, I'm going to paint it. So it is ready to go. Now, this one is still a little wet. I have spray painted it with my Rust-Oleum metallic finish bright coat, and it is a fast drying rich and shiny finish. And when I get done with this, it looks really cool as it is right now. Like, look how cool that looks. The side profile, I mean, it looks really cool as is with just the spray paint on there. I spray painted the bottom first, and now I have spray painted the top. I'm going to actually, I touched it there, so I'm going to smooth that back out, buff it with my finger a little bit. It has got a little bit of wetness still on there, so I need to be careful with it. Stop touching it, smooth out my fingerprints, and I'll just give those spots where I'll just give those a quick spray, just to give them a little bit of a spray. This is the one that I'm going to paint. I've got my prep work done. I've got my top coat on this one. So we prepped our skulls. If you have one that you have found in your backyard, or otherwise in the woods or somewhere that is not sanitized, I went through what I do to sanitize it. I soak it in hydrogen peroxide. Just whatever you get over the counter will do just fine. Then, after you've soaked it in the hydrogen peroxide, and what I did on the other one, which I didn't show on camera, was I took a little toothbrush and got in the little holes and kind of cleaned it out a little more, because I want a nice smooth surface. After you get done with that and it's all dried up, you do a coat of polyacrylic, which will seal the bone and keep it from decaying. You don't want to paint something, make it look really cool and pretty, and then it fall apart in a couple of years. You want to seal that bone. Then, after that, I took my deer skull. Everything is prepped, and I spray painted it front, top, and bottom with my Rust-Oleum spray paint and let it dry. So now it is prepped and ready to be poured on. What am I going to pour on it? I'm going to move you guys over and give you guys a show. Okay, so these are my 5 colors that I want to pour on this. I'm thinking kind of a Tex-Mex look, so I went with Lake Blue, which I thought would be really pretty. I mixed a bit of gold, crimson, and and burnt sienna to get a terracotta red-brown color. I have unbleached titanium, gold, of course, and I have ocean green, or aqua blue, what a lot of people call aqua blue. So I'm going for this brownish, reddish, bluish Tex-Mex color combo. I only did 1 part paint, 2 parts Floetrol, no water. I want it thick. I want it so thick. So what I'm going to do is I'm not going to tilt this at all, or I'm going to do my best not to tilt it. I'm going to pour here on the highest part of the skull and let it run down. I'm not going to pick it up and tilt it or anything because I want some of this gold that I've spray painted as a base color to shine through. I want it to look like it's just colorful spills on it. It's cool in my mind. I hope it transfers onto the skull. So let's get to it. This is my heavy body acrylic Bray Reese. So I will be straining my colors. I do not have silicone in this paint because I don't want to have to wash it too much with Dawn dishwashing liquid. And if you notice, I mixed twice as much gold as I did every other color because I'm going to start and end with it. I really like this Bray Reese gold when it dries. It's very, very pretty. And I'm just pouring them on top of each other into my strainer. I like to strain this Bray Reese because it does typically have chunks in it. So yeah. So I'm pouring it down on a strainer before it goes down in the cup, which I know mixes the colors, but I mean, it's gonna get mixed anyway. It is going to take a little bit longer because I do not have water mixed into these colors. It's going to take a little bit longer for the paint to go through the strainer. So what I will do is after I get done adding all my colors in the pattern that I have in this strainer, I will either cut this portion of the video or I will fast forward it. But I have to let the paint go through because I need all the paint I can get. So I have to let the paint completely go through the strainer. And that could take some time. Look at all those chunks, you guys. It's crazy. I, on the fly, just had this idea. What about the angel wing pour? Where I just pour it and I have this on a tilt because the skull has already got a tilt to it. So by putting a cup underneath here, why don't we do the angel wing pour? So I don't know how this is going to turn out. Let's just do it. That's what I'm going to do is the angel wing pour. Well, I anticipated on doing the angel wing pour, but it ended up being different. Alright guys, let me take you down and give you guys a closer look of this. I'm actually really in love with this, where I painted it with the silver and, or not the silver, the gold, that rose gold color. It just looks really cool. So let me pull this down and give you guys a closer look. Look at that. Look how menacing. I love it. If you get close. I did get some cell action, so that makes me happy. Where that rose gold is, the crease right there, it's actually lifted up, so I'm glad I did spray paint the skull first. Give you guys a side view of it. How cool is that? I'm very happy. I think my next color scheme is not going to be as complicated, but so far I'm very happy with the way this looks. I almost want to pour some different paint on it, but nope, not gonna do it. I do like this. I am going to put some more paint here on the two horns, kind of connecting But other than that, I'm not going to mess with it anymore. I kind of like this. I like the artistry of it. I like the fact that there are parts showing that gold through. I really like it. Anyway, you guys, I hope you guys were inspired. I hope you guys really want to try some crazy, kooky, weird new things, because I've had a ton of fun doing this. If you guys like what I do, please give me a thumbs up for a like, hit subscribe, and ring the bell for notifications whenever I do new videos. If you ever need to get in touch with me, please feel free to hit me up at chromastormarts@gmail.com, or you can contact me through my website, which is www.chromastormarts1.com. I hope you guys were all inspired today, and I hope you guys are doing well. Thank y'all for stopping by. Bye-bye, y'all.